Hello, welcome to Business and Life Advice with Ataande Advisors, where we give people free consulting, mentoring, and coaching on business, life, and leadership advice. My name's Achimba Atande. I'm a four-time entrepreneur, angel investor, lawyer, and adjunct professor. During the last 4 years, I've read over 750 books, and I'm really looking forward to talking with more people like you and sharing some of the things I learned and also learning from you. In this episode, we have Lara, who runs a committed security system installation company in New York, and she has a few business questions. Lara, can you please introduce yourself, your business, and your goals?
Thank you, Archiboro, for having me here. It's wonderful to be at your podcast. Um, my name is Lara Rasmussen. I'm the CEO for Conceptual Network Solutions, and we provide high end security systems, surveillance, access control, burglar systems, 24/7 monitoring, and IT solutions for companies, small, large, a lot of municipalities.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now let's jump into it. You are protecting this world by adding more security. Now, how can we help you? What is the question that you might have as you're scaling out? And congratulations, 10 years in business is phenomenal. So, congratulations on beating most of the statistics.
Thank you
And
very much.
thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk with you.
Thank you. And as you know, having your own business can come with a lot of challenges. One of the things that become very challenging from day to day is keeping my employees motivated. How to light the fire in them, pretty much. And I want to know what strategies that you can provide that I can implement to my employees.
That's a phenomenal question. I think one of the first things to do is understand that you, as a owner, a coach, a leader, the first thing you have to make sure is that you have the right ingredients, right? So, meaning is you can only motivate people who uh, have an attitude that they want to work, right? So that'll be my first question. Is that something that you're seeing?
Uh, Sometimes I leave my employees. I expect them to work independently at a job site, and I notice when I do leave them alone, they tend to slack and take their time on job sites that, especially ones that are prevailing wage and needs to get done right away.
Hmm. Yeah. So see, but when you're with them, they work on time, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you have two issues. There's a short-term fix, and then there's a longer-term fix, which is going to take a while, right? There's a multi-set. The short-term fix is you need a standard holder to be present, right? So that you don't always have to be on site sitting on top of people. Somebody else who has the same urgency, dedication as you, and understands, hey, we get on the site, we do the job, we do it well, we leave, right? So it's somebody who can stand, so you're not the only person. And if people are operating, that's the short-term fix, right? The longer-term fix is a culture slash hiring issue. So you need the person, you or that person needs to be on site because there isn't there's either two things. There's not the correct hires or there's not that culture of accountability, that culture of urgency, right? And digging into, okay, on the front end, are you hiring people that really like to get things done fast and ahead of schedule? Is that part of your screening process? Are you, whenever you're checking in references, hey, one of my favorite questions, would you hire this person again if you had the chance, right?
Okay.
Would you promote this person? Because if somebody, that tells me, oh, this is somebody who does the work and does it well and usually goes above and beyond what's expected, right? So that's references and in screening them, is this person urgent?
Okay.
Is this person able to work without supervision? Then after that, uh, you start breathing into we have a few principles at our company, like rules, a standard of conduct, right? And we quickly remove people who don't abide to our standard of conduct. because we want a culture where I don't just have to sit and watch something going on. If somebody else is seeing, hey, this isn't doing right, they'll tell us, look, that's not how we act in the company. We're all in this together, right? We're all in this together. This is our culture. This is what we expect out of each other.
Yeah.
Now, in order to do that on culture, you also have to tie incentives into it, right? So is there bonus structure? Are they getting rewarded? There's different things that motivate people, right? So it's not one size fits all in motivation. Some people want recognition. Some people want promotion. Some people want money, right? Some people want to feel needed. There's a lot of things that motivate in people, not just employees, people in general. But if you're looking at it from as an owner and figuring out what are my people's things that influence my people, and how can I create that emotion or fulfill that need or give them incentive where they know they'll get that reward if they do XYZ, right? So that's a longer play, but you'll start seeing that, okay, now you don't just have one standard bearer. It's most of the company are standard bearers, and if anybody starts acting out of culture, the rest will pull them back in or say, hey, we really enjoy, we think you have a great personality, but this isn't the right place for you. Right? And that's hard. I know that's hard, but that is the way you can do it.
Well, that's actually wonderful advice. That is really wonderful.
Thank
I
you very much.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I do have one question. How do you deal with a person that's garrulous, like per se, a very talkative personality? And even mentioning it a couple of times in the most polite way, they
Hmm.
don't recognize their personality and
Hmm.
they don't see that they're
They
very
talk.
talkative.
They talk a bit too
And,
much.
and
Um,
unfortunately, this person can be in a higher position and they're
mhm.
very good at what they do. So it's
So
not something you can let go.
sorry. Continue, please.
And sometimes with that, it becomes almost like a slacker
I
and
see.
it lowers the work productivity, even though they do provide high quality work.
Okay. So this is where coaching comes into play, right? Constant feedback. Constant feedback. One of my standards for my company is we have a pursuit of excellence, right? We're pursuing excellent. So this ties back into the culture thing, and in doing that, this gives me and other people the right to people coach me too. Some people tell me, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. I've been told a few things that I've worked on uh, for my team. So they'll coach. They'll say, hey, this is not working, or this is working really well. And having those sessions where you're able to talk with somebody and build that relationship, where you can say, hey, you're really great at this, and this area, but I think you can be even better if you limited how much you spoke, right? Or try to focus on the core details. Okay. And understanding some things may be a personality thing where somebody likes to talk, but once they start, because you don't just want to reject them, especially if they're a top line worker, right? If they're an A, you definitely don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Right? You don't want to do that. It's more building that relationship where you're saying, hey, this is something I think you're phenomenal at X, Y. I think you can also improve at Z, right? I think you can improve at Z. And if you do that, I think you'll be even better. Where by doing this, tying this back to what they might want, figuring out what they may want, you'll become somebody who I want to always work with, somebody who I'm always going to put on jobs, somebody who I will promote, etc., depending on the relationship with this person, right? And playing, stating it in a way that aligns with their goals, not just what you want. You have to always touch yourself and turn yourself. What does this person want? And what can I actually give them? How can I get them to that? And now you're creating alignment between what you want and what that person wants. And then it takes some time with this coaching, this communication. But once they start seeing you do it, not just to them, but to everyone, it's going to create, it's once it goes back to that culture, it's going to create that culture of accountability. It's going to create that
Yeah,
culture of we can be honest with each other, right?
yeah. I like
So
that.
that's a really good question. That's a really good question. By the
Thank
way,
you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome.
Can you share any success stories of employees who have been particularly motivated and achieved outstanding results after?
Yeah. So um, I wonder if this person will see it, but they know we talk about it within the company enough, and we talked about it when she was here. So we had somebody, and we hired them for a specific job, and they came in and could not do the job. Essentially, wanted me or somebody else to hold their hand, right, to do the job. Just hold their hand and walk and literally. And
Yes.
as you know, we need to, we run fast, we move fast. We have a lot of. I can't hold your hand through this. This is stuff you have to figure out. And then it also went from I wasn't. I typically try to push people to be. It's one of our core. I push people. So I was even. It was not just a bare job. The next step we had to get once you started doing that was to. Uh, I like people to go above and beyond and be even more than a traditional person in this role would do. And oh, that was fighting, and there was a culture clash, and it was, I was not realistic, and this and that. But the good thing about culture, especially if you're fair and honest with people, you they don't feel like you're picking on them. Rather, this is how you treat people, principle based. The people who are meant to stay will stay, and that's hard for some people are meant to go. So I had some people meant to go. So what happened with this person? She eventually, it took a month and a half, maybe 2 months. She eventually bought in. She started, so she was a bookkeeper, right? She was a bookkeeper, but I wanted her to do some things where she was analyzing statements. She was predicting cash flow. She was predicting pay cycles. She was helping me budget and plan things out. And she was like, "Wait, this is way above what I've done." We went from trying to get her to do the bookkeeping task to doing that. And finally, after she changed her attitude, it started off with changing, "Oh, I can't do this," to, "Oh, I can," "Oh, I will," right? "I will do the work that takes." And 5 to 6 months later, she became great at it. And she thanked us. She thanked me, and then she said, "Thank you so much for pushing me," right? Because I'm doing right now what I didn't think I could do. I didn't think I could do. And what it led, good story, bad story, I'll tell you everything. What it did lead to, though, is she got an offer from another company that we just couldn't match. Right? We were just like, "Oh wow, we couldn't match it," but
You
she
did
got
too good of a job.
we couldn't match it. Um, but it was everything like triple her salary plus health insurance was, and I was like, I understand, I understand. But everything, the reason why she got it is because she built those skills that we put her through,
Yeah.
right? She built those skills that we put her through, and now, while we did lose her, there's still some of my people are going to her wedding, so it's not. We don't hate her. She's still a great person, right? It showed the rest of my people. If this person turned around and showed them, hey, he's not just doing it for himself. Like these are skills that I actually need to succeed in the world.
Yeah.
Right? There's another level. I know I was taught one thing in school. I know was taught one thing at another job. But if I listen to them, there's a higher level that I can attain, and then I will reap a lot of benefits from it. Now we work to make sure people stay within our company because you can't just train people for other people's company. But those are some ways that it has worked. One of the ways it's worked.
That's wonderful.
Hmm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a very good because I'm in kind of a similar situation where I would like some particular employee, in
Hmm.
case they see this video, to do more.
Hmm.
But every time I ask for more, there's excuses. But I see potential.
Hmm.
But there's like a disconnect, a block
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm trying to hurdle over.
Hmm.
But every time I try, it's not my pay grade. It's just, oh, I'm just very busy. I have so many things to do, which I know what you're doing. It's you can go further.
Hmm. So that's good. One thing, I have you ever told this person? That you see potential in them?
Yes.
Okay. How did they respond to that?
They were motivated by it, but when it came to implementing, that's where the roadblock came in.
So I would say do that a few more times because that's what I spoke about this one person that left, but there's several people that have stayed that I've had to do that to. And if my people ever got out here and tell stories about how I push them to grow, that'll be a very interesting show.
Please give me
Um,
an example.
but why
What
I
worked
say
for
it?
you?
Hmm?
What worked for you?
What works for
Like,
talking about people's potential, and not everybody's going to get it. That's why hiring is so important, right? And hiring people who want to grow. One of the things I hire for does, and this is a tip I'll say to look for in the future. Has this person shown a growth mindset in the past? Meaning, does this person actively read? Is this person actively taking training courses? Is this person actively learning? If they're not doing it in the past, it's going to be hard to change them in the future. So
yeah,
hiring, one of the things that's hiring and looking for people with growth mindset is going to be instrumental because it's really hard to change a behavior and attitude. I did that. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work to do.
yes.
It's better to find people who already have that behavior and attitude, and now you can show them a better way to do it because you have the experience. So you can say, okay, you're doing this. You'd have gotten here in 10 years. I can help you get here in 5 years. And that motivates people to want to stay and work with you, right?
Yeah.
They want to stay and now they want to work for you. It's not necessarily about your security company. It's, hey, I want to be under your leadership, right? I want to be under your leadership. I'm working with this person. I'm working with this person because I know I'm going to have space to grow. I know I'm going to be mentored. I know I'm going to be given opportunities, right? And that's something some people, I won't say most people want this, but some people really want that. And those are the people you actually want on your team, right?
Oh, so also educating them, sending them to classes and such, that would definitely motivate them
Exactly.
too. Oh,
Exactly.
that's
Send them to
okay.
classes, things, and showing them. And as they grow, they'll see. Hopefully, they'll see that pride in themselves. Right? They'll
Yeah,
start having pride, and people start picking like, "Oh, wow, I'm actually learning a lot from now. I can do that more." X Y Z.
that's very good.
Mhm.
Very nice. How do you ensure that your motivation efforts are aligned with the diverse needs and preferences of your workplace?
My motivation efforts are aligned with the diverse needs and preferences of my workplace. So, my personal motivation or the motivation of my team.
Motivation of your team.
So, I think it starts on the front end on hiring
Well,
them.
your motivation, what you want. How do you align it with your team?
So, this is what do people typically So some people want to work in a lifestyle business, right? We talked about lifestyle business a bit. Some people want to work in a lifestyle business where you can work 30 hours, 40 maybe 20 hours. I just want to do that. Other people want to work in a growing company, right? Like, hey, I really want to be on cutting edge. I want to do something that is going to make the world bigger or more impactful or something. Some people want a stable job, right? Some people want a stable job. So it doesn't necessarily, it starts with you, but another part is also what, um, what do people want? And are you making sure you're getting the right people for who you are? Right?
Yeah.
So I keep on going back to this hiring thing. Now, what do I do? One of the things, my major thing is I'm very clear about my goals and my ambitions and who would make sense in this company and who wouldn't make sense in this company. Okay. So one of the things that I'm clear about on who would make sense in this company and who wouldn't make sense in this company, I say, hey, we are a driven company. This is not a 40-hour a week company, right? If you want to succeed, if you want to, you're not going to be doing 40 hours a week in my company. It just doesn't work. I'm not going to expect you to work as much as I do, but if you want to grow, this is the path. And we
Yeah.
want to be number one in our fields. And we want to be across XYZ markets. This is our ambition, and this is why we're pushing for it. And the beautiful thing about that is, regardless of where you start, there is no glass ceiling in my company. I don't care where you're from. I don't care about your I don't care about your gender. If you do a great job, shoot, you can take my job one day. You can take my job. I'm fine with that. And we're ambitious where that in growing, even if you don't have, you'll be leading a department, hopefully over a country or region, etc. But you have to be willing to do the work. And you'll see once revenue matches the work you're doing and what you're building out, then we can um, then we can talk also about bonuses, promotions, etc. And I'm saying, look, I'm more than happy to pay you, but you have to think that through.
And one that actually I want to ask your advice. I'm expanding the company to different states.
Hmm. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. There's been some more opportunities. And also to different parts of New York. Do you have suggestions for me in regards to, I'm only one person. I can only be in so many places.
Hmm.
In regards to the expansions, what
Okay.
kind of tips would you provide?
So I can't speak about expanding to different states. I've expanded into different countries a bit, but not states. So I can't speak on the That's
Wow,
a,
that's even
that's yes and no, but it's different. I'm doing it digitally, so it's a little. You have
okay.
to kind of move physically, so it's a bit different. And I'm trying to. So one of the things you want to do, and as I expand or I expand into different markets, I try to. What I do is I have one of my strongest leaders. I prep them to take over already stabilized market, right? So no more.
Okay.
No, I'm not controlling New York anymore, right? If I'm expanding, New York is settled. We know how New York runs. I already have processes and procedures for New York. You take over New York and you run New York. My goal is I'm going to go out and plant our flag in another state, in another location, in another country, and I'm going to figure it out and build it up again. And once that's established, okay, now I have another person there, and they're going to do that. All right.
Standard
So that's
operating procedures.
exactly. So that's how I would say you can work through that. Another way, if you're not going to do that, is finding a strategic partner in that place, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a coach, somebody who knows the lay of the land, because markets are different politically, legally. Uh, Whoever's the
Yes.
big fish in a pond is different. So there's some
Yeah.
strategies that you'll be able to take, but you need to know the lay of the land,
Yeah.
right? So those are some things to think about.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Very, very insightful.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I
mm,
think these are good questions. And as you go, realize you don't have to do all yourself. What you did to get here isn't necessarily what you have to do to get to the next level,
yeah.
right? Now you have a bigger network. So don't feel like you have to rebuild it all again to get to the next level. Now it's okay. Maybe it's more about partnering. Maybe it's more
Yeah.
about collaborating. Maybe now you have more money so you can hire coaches to walk you through this.
Yeah.
And so when I say coach, I mean maybe somebody who's actually expanded to that city or state in your industry. Hey, how have you done this? Or going to a going to a seminar and sitting and listening to somebody or reading a book by some who has this is the playbook on how to do this and that, and reaching out, figure out who's the top people in your field. Especially one key tip is looking at the person who retired from your field. This is something that I actually got from Patrick Bet David, right? Going and looking up a person who's retired, they're not doing the business, so they don't mind sharing the secrets because they're not in
Yeah.
the game anymore, right? So they don't feel like you're competition. So going, reaching out, finding, okay, who has had a big company that has retired and
That's
doesn't
a
mind me.
great idea. Oh, I
Mhm.
love Patrick. Oh my God. I love listening to him. He
Mhm.
got me through a lot of hard times.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
definitely
great.
did. I know one thing that has definitely helped in motivation is taking whoever I need to talk to instead of sitting down and talking to them, is taking them out to lunch,
Hmm.
one on one, in a calm setting.
Hmm. That's a great strategy. Just keep
Yeah.
doing that, right? And the key thing is, so one of my businesses, he started today. I hired an operations manager,
Oh,
right?
nice.
So thanks. And he's going to be taking over a lot of duties that I used to have to do. So now I can spend more time taking people to lunch or dinner and learning
Oh,
from them, right? Whether it's sales, whether it's being mentored, whether it's being coached, whether it's asking for advice, whether it's giving advice. And I would say for you, is there somebody who can take over a lot of the day-to-day things you can do, so you can go and get this advice, you can go and figure things out at a larger scale.
That's actually what I've been implementing on my business now. I'm
That's
actually
awesome.
working on the business now instead of in it.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's been working wonders. It's amazing.
Tell us about the wonders, if you
Um,
whatever you
I
can share.
started this program and I met some wonderful people at Goldman Sachs 10K.
Hmm.
And I've always been one that was always inside the business, working in the field with everybody, um, and just constantly being everywhere. Now the my approach is I learned how to remove myself from the day-to-day operations to start working on expanding the business, which already we've already seen the implementation. I've partnered up with various companies. We've been-
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've joined many large networking groups, which have
That's all.
been positive. It has given me a chance to pursue licenses in different states and
Wow,
expand my goals.
that's
It has
amazing.
definitely changed my goals of what I wanted. I realized that my mindset was a lot smaller,
Hmm.
and now I realize with my larger goals, it's more doable.
Mm.
I've been preparing large bids, you know, to
Awesome.
deal with a
Okay.
lot of municipalities. Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. So now
How
you
about
have a larger field of vision, right?
yes.
Because you're not so focused. You don't have to. You're able to
No,
have other, and that's beautiful.
I'm no
That's
longer thinking in the box.
hmm that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
look at the confidence you have, right? The confidence, and you're creating an even stronger network. It seems like you're really being plugged in.
It's so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing it.
It's worth it after all those days that were not
Yeah.
fun. Getting to the
Yes.
point where that's
But
beautiful.
the best part is one of the important things about being in the business and growing the business while being in it is if everyone leaves one day, God forbid, I know exactly how to continue the business
Hmm.
and start it from scratch and rebuild it again.
Exactly. And even better.
Yeah,
You-
even better.
Even better. Oh, that's beautiful. That's
No.
beautiful. Is there anything else that I can help with, or we can talk about? So we talk about, remember, it's business advice, leadership advice, self-development. Um, yeah.
Um, Let me ask you this. Yeah. As a woman CEO, how what is the best way to be with these employees? They respect me a lot.
Okay.
However, what is the best way to be a female CEO to motivate my employees and talk to them without them getting offended or feeling unrelatable?
So that's a phenomenal question. One of the biggest things I would say with that is, now that you're, especially since you're rising, go talk to some women CEOs who have as many employees as or more, especially larger companies. Say, hey, this is what I'm going through, and when you reach out for advice, just ask maybe one or two things and say, hey, this is my background. I'm running this company. I've been doing it for 10 years. We're doing well. We're expanding. However, this is the next thing I need to figure out. I see you have this experience. I would love if I can take you out to lunch or dinner or discuss how you're navigating this, right?
Okay.
How you're navigating this. And then start asking, and you'll get the advice, but you'll also get an amazing network, right, as well. So that's how I would say, talk to the women CEOs who are doing this at a large scale, and have them tell you, hey, this is how I balance things.
That's very good advice. Very good advice.
Thank you. Thank you. I may not always know the
But
answer, but I'll have
however,
an idea of where to
being
get it
the
from.
On the other end of it, yes, talking to other female CEOs, but what I meant was from a male's point of view.
Hmm. So, from a male's point of view, female, it depends. Men are different, right? So, it depends what you're going to do. I think even with male CEOs, everybody has a different personality, and people will kind of see if you're acting out of personality, and that's when, like, the respect. It's hard to hold that command, right?
Yeah.
If there's not that respect, and that's kind of like when people see you acting out of character, or they
Yeah.
don't see that you're composed. And I'm speaking as they don't see that you're composed. They also see you don't keep your word. So, like if somebody does something and crosses a red line, and you don't fire them, then it's like, oh, it starts creating that, okay, I can really do whatever I want. Or if they see one employee getting away with something, but you're punishing another employee, they're like, hey, there's not fairness going on. So I
Okay.
can't answer that all from a woman CEO standpoint, but I can tell you that that's how people evaluate things from leaders. And they're going to see if it's somebody they feel they can walk all over, man or woman, they're going to take what they can get. If they know
Mm.
there's pushback, or you are able to really um, command respect and show repercussions, and they know you're growing, then it's like, okay, if they go, then you're still on your way up, right? You're still on your way up. It's you would have loved to have this person or whatnot, but you have to continue focusing on your success. That's a really really good question. That's a really good question, and I know there's a ton of women-led organizations for women
Yes.
leadership. So that's something where you can look into. If you can't connect with somebody directly, maybe joining that organization and connecting with them as a member
I
rather than.
have, and I've really met some tremendously amazing women. No, not only from the program of Goldman Sachs, especially the program for Goldman Sachs, and also joining these other women groups.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
no, it really, I feel blessed.
I'm happy to hear that.
Um, I don't have any more questions. Do you have any questions I
Well,
should ask?
yeah. No, I think one of the things you can know too is you can always come back, right?
Yeah.
Like as long as we have the bandwidth, you can come back and say, "Hey, I have these questions," and also give us updates. This worked. This didn't work, right?
Okay.
So this worked. This didn't work. So we can wrap up and then kind of give you can give us some feedback as well, right, in terms of what you liked, and go from there. So thank you so much, Lara. It was a pleasure to have you
Thank
on.
you very much. It
Can you
was absolutely wonderful. A great experience.
mhm.
I'm sure.
Can you please say the name of your company again so people can go look it up?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Conceptual Network Solutions.
Conceptual Network Solutions. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Lara, for being on. It was a pleasure to talk with you, and I can't wait to hear that you expanded to 50 states and that you're going international. So I'm looking forward to hearing that from you.
Thank you, Archibald. And I wish you all the best and
Thank
keep in touch.
you. Well,